What does it take to go from a raw prospect to a dominant world champion in one of MMA's toughest divisions? In today's video on Legends of the Octagon, we're breaking down the incredible journey of Dakota Ditcheva. Once known only for her striking, Dakota transformed into a complete fighter, mastering the ground game and rising to the top of the flyweight ranks. From her early struggles to her championship triumph, this is the story of relentless focus, evolution, and determination. Stay tuned to see how Dakota Ditcheva became one of the most well-rounded and respected fighters in women's MMA. When Dakota Ditcheva first entered the MMA scene, she was recognized almost immediately for her striking. She had fast hands, precise timing, and knockout power that made her stand out in the flyweight division. Early on, her fights rarely went the distance. Her aggressive stand-up game overwhelmed most opponents before grappling even became a factor. But as she climbed the ranks, it became clear that relying solely on striking would limit her against more well-rounded fighters. At that time, Dakota's ground game was widely considered the weak link in her arsenal. Critics pointed to her takedown defense as inconsistent and her grappling as underdeveloped. Fighters with a strong wrestling or jiu-jitsu base began targeting this weakness. Dakota recognized it, and instead of hiding from the criticism, she addressed it head-on. She dedicated herself to improving her wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Her training camps became focused on developing the fundamentals, first, building a solid base to resist takedowns, then learning to scramble effectively, and finally becoming confident enough to dictate terms on the ground. A key moment in Dakota's evolution came in a fight against Marina, the Python Alves, a BJJ black belt and former world champion grappler. Alves was known for finishing fights on the ground, and many expected Dakota to get exposed. Instead, Dakota showed composure under pressure. Her takedown defense was sharp, using a strong sprawl and controlling Alves' head to avoid being dragged down. Even when the fight hit the mat, Dakota executed a textbook whizzer to reversed position and return to her feet. As the fight progressed, Dakota began to anticipate Alves' setups for trips and sweeps. She posted hands when needed, maintained hip pressure, and used underhooks to keep herself in dominant positions during scrambles. What stood out most was her ability to stay calm in disadvantageous situations, something she had struggled with earlier in her career. In the later rounds, Dakota wore Alves down with ground and pound when she found top control, mixing short elbows with body shots to disrupt Alves' attempts at guard retention. By the end of 3 rounds, Dakota earned a unanimous decision win, largely by neutralizing Alves' elite grappling. It was a statement that she was no longer just a striker. She had become a true mixed martial artist. Dakota's climb up the flyweight rankings was a methodical process. While her natural athleticism gave her an edge, it was her growing fight IQ and ability to adapt that separated her from the rest. Early in her career, she was known for finishing opponents quickly. But as she began facing tougher, more experienced fighters, she developed a more measured approach. Dakota started using feints and footwork to draw opponents into exchanges on her terms. Her clinch game became a core component of her strategy, allowing her to control the pace of fights and limit her opponent's offensive options. Kelly Murphy was a well-rounded veteran with a background in Muay Thai and a reputation for wearing opponents down with volume striking and leg kicks. Many expected Murphy to outlast Dakota in a technical battle. Instead, Dakota flipped the script. Rather than engage in a back-and-forth striking match, Dakota initiated the clinch repeatedly. She worked inside control, landing knees to the body and short elbows that frustrated Murphy. Dakota's underhook work prevented Murphy from breaking away, and she constantly changed levels, threatening takedowns that forced Murphy to hesitate. As Murphy slowed, Dakota took over. She transitioned from clinch strikes to trips, briefly grounding Murphy multiple times and controlling the action along the fence. It was a grinding, methodical fight, far different from the highlight reel knockouts Dakota had built her reputation on. But it showed her evolution into a versatile fighter capable of controlling every aspect of a fight. This win was pivotal. It proved Dakota had more than just knockout power. She had the patience, durability, and technical skills to handle veterans with deep toolkits. After making waves in regional circuits, Dakota signed with the Professional Fighters League, PFL, specifically competing in their European events. It was a step up in competition, facing elite fighters from across the continent. Dakota's breakout moment came in a high-stakes European tournament where she faced back-to-back challenges. Her first opponent was Aliska Novak, a Czech striker known for her speed and precision. Dakota closed the distance early, timing Novak's jab with a counter overhand right that landed flush. Novak hit the canvas hard, and the fight was over in under 2 minutes. The knockout went viral, and Dakota's reputation as a finisher grew. In the semifinals, she faced Gabriela Costa, an experienced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with a dangerous guard. Dakota stayed disciplined, using strong posture in Costa's guard and landing short, effective strikes from top position. She nullified Costa's armbar attempts by keeping her elbows tight and breaking grips before they became dangerous. Costa couldn't sweep Dakota or lock up a submission, and by the final round, Dakota was landing heavy ground and pound. By the end of the tournament, Dakota was recognized as one of Europe's most dangerous flyweights. She had proven she could finish strikers and survive against elite grapplers. Dakota's first full season in the PFL was where everything came together. She had honed her striking, clinch game, and defensive grappling to the point where she was dictating fights from start to finish. Tessa Hayward was a crafty striker with excellent footwork and counters. Dakota's game plan was built around pressure and forcing Hayward into close-range exchanges. Dakota cut off the cage well, using low kicks and feints to back Hayward toward the fence. Once there, Dakota unleashed short elbows and dirty boxing that sapped Hayward's energy. In the second round, Dakota mixed in takedowns from body lock positions, dragging Hayward to the mat and holding top control. She delivered punishing elbows and stayed active enough to prevent any stand-ups. Dakota's ability to blend her skills, striking, clinching, and ground control, earned her a dominant decision win and a place in the finals. She won the tournament by finishing her final opponent with a third-round TKO. She became a role model for women in MMA, showing that they could headline major events and draw large audiences. Her advocacy for better pay and recognition helped push organizations to invest more in their female divisions. Outside the cage, Dakota's authenticity made her a fan favorite. She stayed grounded, using her platform to mentor young fighters and promote the sport. Her business ventures, including a successful gym and apparel line, further expanded her influence. Dakota Ditcheva's legacy is one of evolution, perseverance, and breaking barriers. She redefined what it meant to be a complete fighter, combining elite striking with strong grappling and a high fight IQ. She defended her title multiple times against the next generation of contenders, cementing her place in history. Years after her prime, Dakota is still considered a pioneer who helped usher in a new era of women's MMA. Her story is a reminder that with hard work and dedication, any fighter can overcome their weaknesses and rise to the top. Dakota Ditcheva's rise to the top wasn't just about winning fights. It was about redefining what it means to be a complete fighter. Her evolution from striker to all-around champion has left a lasting impact on women's MMA and inspired fighters around the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Dakota's journey, make sure to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Legends of the Octagon for more stories about the greatest fighters in the game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.